Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mahdi Tijani back with you, aka the Red Mahdi, aka the Masculine Reviver. And today I've got a wild video to react to. The title of the video is What is the Role of Women by Jennifer Molesky. But the thumbnail goes as follows: F the war out of him. F the war out of him. Now, Jennifer Molesky, she's a tradcon, traditional conservative, traditional conservative Christian, and she has an absolutely biting wit about her. So, let's get into it.
Stay in competition, be stronger, get your nails did, get your promotion, and rally for women's rights. Allow others to raise your children so you can blame the system that they didn't turn out as wonderful as they could have. Turn to the government. Vote your way to happiness. This time we're in contains a message, and I believe it's a perfect time for modern women to reflect on who they really are, what our natural place is, the natural order that brings peace and fulfillment to ourselves, our families, our communities, and our wonderful men. My name is Jennifer Molesky. This is my YouTube channel. I do plan on doing a commenting on comments video tomorrow, depending upon participation. So if you would like me to do that, then just use the keyword at the end of this video in your comment. And if it's a good comment and I want to, freedom here, then I will comment on your comment tomorrow in the video. But if there's not a lot of participation, then I won't do it. Okay, so that's the way it's gonna go. Let's get into it.
This video blew up, by the way. There's thousands of comments in the video.
Women have
You're gonna see why.
Purposefully infiltrated with fairy tales in classrooms that dismiss men, their innovations, their integrity, their protection, their strength, their very essence, in pursuit of the agenda for women to share or entirely assume the burden that is not naturally best fought and won by women. These fairy tales and classrooms show women winning in arenas that they don't naturally win in. They thrust women on the shoulders of superiority, of dominate.
Oh, I need to focus on that statement. They show women winning in arenas they don't typically win in. Think of the last superhero movie you watched where there was a superhero and a superheroine, and the superheroine like busts up 8-9 guys. That's what she's talking about. Showing women succeeding in arenas they don't typically do well in, such as beating up men.
The world can be on the woman's shoulders, and it's no problem. Women are so strong, they can do the job of one woman and a man, or 5 men, or 10. Who needs men? You with me, ladies? Women are invincible. Well, I'm not. 2 awesome people are better than 1, is my opinion. So I don't want to spit on the notion that some individuals, women in this case, have the strength and fortitude to endure hard times, or be taken by a flatus, or that a woman cannot be a bel esprit, or survive on her own. But just because they're able doesn't mean it's best. There are a lot of people who are freaking out right now,
I want to hold on to that thought. Oh, wow. Just because she's able doesn't mean it's best. I've just finished watching a program by Bear Grylls called The Island. Kevin Samuels talking about it so much. Well, let me watch this damn program. And it's where they put a group of men and a group of women on an island, a remote island, for 6 weeks, and they have to fend for themselves and survive. Now, both groups survived. For most of the participants, anyway. There was a few who fell off here and there, but the majority of the women survived, albeit with difficulty, and the majority of the men survived, albeit with difficulty. However, just because the women survived doesn't mean it came naturally to them. And there was one part of that program that really hit home for me. The last day before the women were to leave, they said, I don't want to leave this place. We don't want to leave this place looking like trash. We want to leave this place like we own this place. And what did they mean by that? They created a nice makeshift home. They made it look nice, created a bedspread out of vine leaves. That was their definition of leaving the place on a strong note. The men had the same narrative. We want to leave this island on a strong note. And then what did they say next? Let's go and kill a pig. Let's go and hunt and kill something. That's exactly what they did. They found a big fat pig and killed it the day before they left, or 2 days before they left. Different wiring. So the women survived, but it doesn't mean it was their natural environment to do so. Equally, a man, he can survive raising his kids at home, being a stay-at-home dad. He'll survive. Doesn't mean it's his natural environment. It's not where he best thrives.
He's not freaking out right now. Real men. Here's my definition of a real man. A real man has spent his time, or most of it, cultivating himself. He's strong, Patient, stoic, capable, accepting. He does what he can and accepts what he can't. He doesn't accept the wrong in the world, but he sees the wrong and does not let it penetrate his world, or if he has one, his home. I'm using home in a different way. I'll get to it. Now, what constitutes world is
I know a lot of men get triggered when a woman tries to define what a man's role should be, just as women get triggered when men try to define what a woman's role should be. But haq, batil, batil. The truth is the truth and falsehood is falsehood. I find her definition to be very fitting. A man who is stoic, who doesn't accept the wrong in the world, doesn't embrace it, but accepts it for what it is, who's on his grind, on his purpose. These are all brilliant definitions. What's wrong with that?
for each man, but for every real man, the world starts with his mind. And once the mind is firmly secured by its rightful property owner, the real man may extend his property portfolio. Bedroom, house, cabin, property, farm, personal community, etc. Every man has a personal property line and he keeps it safe from evil. He's not a hoarder. He doesn't hold on to anything, mindset, material, relationships, anything that would be a liability rather than an asset. And he adds to his property portfolio when he feels his masculine nature desires him to take on more. He does this because he carries what he can and his strength is ever increasing. But he doesn't burden himself with a weight that he can't handle, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, etc. Some real men's personal property is a real woman. Woohoo! That's when a man finds his home. He's been out in the world, wandering, chopping down trees, honing his mind, conquering, failing, succeeding, building, learning. And then one day he thinks, you know what? I'm ready to settle down, find myself a home. Now, any ladies offended at my words, please.
SubhanAllah, it's so interesting that she uses the word home. And the ayah springs to mind. Okay, SubhanAllah, that word home. I want to zone in on that word because it reminded me of this ayah in Surah Al-Rum. I'm going to read it out for you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. The English translation. And amongst his signs is that he has created for you wives from amongst yourself so that you may find tranquility within them. However, the word that Allah used was لتسكنوا. Teskun means to live in. Where I live. The home is where you live. Pay attention to the wording that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used. The woman is the home. She's tranquility, peace, comfort. Everything that you associate with your home, that's what she is. And I found it fascinating that she used the exact same word that Allah has used to describe wives in the Quran.
Or don't, whatever. Women still have personal responsibility. I'm not saying property in the sense that you have no autonomy, not at all. You always have personal responsibility, and with it comes freedom to make your own decisions, to choose your steps. Without the ability to make your own decisions comes a loophole to profess how nothing is your fault. You're a victim, your husband's the worst, or you were just following orders. Think of the I just work here mentality. But when a woman uses her good judgment, she gives herself, her body, her spirit to a man. It is a voluntary act between her and the man. Hers is a submissive gesture to be in partnership with the man, and a real man leads his woman. I think some women hate the idea because they think a man will be a tyrant, but a real man's intention is to lead you both to a good life or a better life every day. The goal.
I really want to home in on this point here because a lot of women have a problem with this, with being led by a man. Oh, he's controlling. Yes, mother beep. Yes, we're controlling. See, look, to assert that being controlling is a bad thing would be to suggest, logically, it must follow that lack of control is a good thing. No, lack of control is a bad thing, which means being in control is a good thing. Yes, we want to be in control. And a man wants to lead his woman to a better place. It can't be two leaders in the household, just one. Because how many CEOs of a company? How many generals of an army? How many presidents of a country? How many headmasters in a school? One. How many leaders in a home? One. This is not communitarianism. You don't say that right? No, fine. There you go. Communitarianism. A theory or system of social organization based on small self-governing communities. Big man thing. Man, I was trying to sound clever. That backfired. So yes, a man wants to lead his household. This is not communitarianism. There can only be one leader. And for a woman to submit herself to her husband, that's strength. It's not easy to submit yourself, by the way. To submit your will, your choices, if you like, to one competent, capable person that you have deemed competent and capable to lead you. That's hard. That requires strength. These so-called strong and independent women, I do my own thing, boss babe and all that nonsense. Nah, habibti, you're weak. Because you don't have the strength to submit to a man. That's strength.
Is to live a good life, safety and happiness, joy and the obtainment of goals. You're his home and a real man takes care of his home. My prediction is that if there are women listening that don't like it, you're of two different sets. There's two different sets of women. First are the ones with a certain mindset, which creates the second type. The mindset guides the woman's decisions, which creates an outcome. So it's a mindset and an outcome. You're living either in one of those. The mindset I refer to is one in which the belief is held that a patriarchy is inhibiting to a woman's personal happiness. That patriarchy hurts women, not helps. That patriarchy must be eradicated. That women must show men who's boss. And it's women. It's a mindset of competition. It's pretty much dick envy. This mindset leads to the outcome. Women who have chosen to partner up with a man, not a real man, but the kind of man they had professed to want. The kind of man they sought out. The kind of man who wants a woman to dominate them. They want the woman to wear the pants. These women choose poorly and suffer the consequences. They don't respect their weak man, but keep in mind those men are suffering too. That's where a lot of people are right now, hence this video topic. These women suffer from building their minds and life on a false reality. It's faulty construction. They've learned how to build a house from a glass blower. They follow the advice and end up in a weak glass house. Life is fragile, so the shelter in your home should not be. I find it amazing how many women repel the idea of loving one man, working hard with and for one man, yet give their devotion and trust to a government. Some women choose to believe in one, tens, hundreds, or thousands of people having their back, your back, instead of believing in one man. Why? I'm beginning to think that women have suffered such a blow from feminism that they honestly don't know how to add real value to the world or to a relationship. And I think my theory is exhibited all around. So my loose theory is that because women forgot or outright dismiss how they can add value to their relationships, they fear that if a real man found out who they were, he wouldn't want to have their back.
Let's hone in on that. Women forgot or outright dismiss how they can add value to a relationship, especially with the whole feminist narrative of being strong and independent and pursuing your career for women and so on. Look, you want to do your career thing, whatever, but understand this. As a man, we don't give two shits about your career. We don't value it. So that's for you. It's not for us. And a lot of women get surprised. What do you mean you don't value my career? Listen, Habibti, just because you value it doesn't mean we value it. It's not, we don't value the same things in each other. You value a certain set of qualities in a man. We don't necessarily admire those same things. For example, you want a man who can lead. You want a man who's taller than you, stronger than you, wealthier than you, more intelligent, on and on. That's hypergamy. We want different things. We want a woman who's young, fit, fertile, feminine, friendly. And if she's not young, for whatever reason, maybe either she's grown older naturally or you've married someone older, fine. So fit, feminine, fertile, friendly. And if she's past the age of fertility, feminine and friendly. That can last a lifetime. We want different things. That's the point.
Government, on the other hand, doesn't know them, not personally. So do you think that's why some women depend on government? Because in order to have support, they mustn't be truly known? Perhaps they...
One more point, very important. If a woman wants a leader to lead, right? She's looking for a leader. Even if she doesn't want to be led by him. Instinctually, women look for men who have strong leadership qualities. What do you think the leader's looking for? Another leader? No. Leaders are looking for good followers. Yes, ladies, we want you to follow. We're not looking for a leader. And women get really upset sometimes when they try and say to me, oh, I have experience now, that should make me more valuable, never mind that I'm older. No, Habibti, your experience is a hindrance. It's not an asset. It's the thorn in our sides because it makes you you're less likely to follow with ease. Yes, that's why men tend to go for younger women. They follow more easily. If they follow instruction, they follow whatever the case may be, however you want them to fit into your way of life as a man, they're much more likely to fit into that. But you can adopt this at any stage in your life, by the way. It's just harder as you grow older. You don't have to be young to be a good follower. No. Yes, it tends to be that younger men and women alike are more inclined towards change and adapting themselves. But you can adapt as an older man or woman. The choice is yours. You get to choose. Again, if you're looking for a leader, then guess what? That leader is looking for a follower.
The notion that they're worthy of support. A person who's worth being saved, as long as it's by someone who doesn't know them. If that makes you upset, it might be worth taking a deep dive into who you really are and what you really provide. Oh, but wait, I know. The government doesn't just have your back, it's the nation's back. They're looking out for everyone. Okay, fine. If that brings you comfort, fine. But the only way people really look at the world is through their own lens. You don't want to die. Yeah, I know. You don't want anyone else to die. How noble. But really, it's you you're concerned about. You live your entire life thinking about you. And let me guess, it's also the government who thinks about you, who cares about you. Because government doesn't think about themselves. They're altruistic. That's why they were voted in, right? Is to think about you. People in government aren't really known for killing and starving their own kind. Democide has only killed like less than Charles Manson. Wait, I might have that wrong. Well, anyway, if you want, you look up the numbers on democide. Ladies, we've had it wrong for a long while. And not all ladies, but a lot of ladies. Women have been raised, like I said before, within classrooms that vilify men and bolsters government and women. We've seen cartoons where the woman is the smart, strong hero. We've seen action movies that give women totally fake powers over men. But they never show a woman's true superhero strength. They don't show the key to how to live and die a meaningful life. So what is our strength? You want to guess? It's femininity. Let's play the worst case scenario game. Okay, let's say shit goes down, like serious shortages, fighting individuals, banding together. So feminists, or any ladies who have stated that they want total equality, for the strong independent proclaimers, do you really want an equal fight with a bad man? Do you really think that's your natural place, to fight and win? Or would it be an unfair fight, so you would want the guy to say something like, okay, well, I'll give you 10 swings before I hit you. But that wouldn't be equal, would it? For the banding together scenario, do you really think that you should be taken on in a group just because you're a woman, or you're black, or you're Hispanic, or you're tall, or you're skinny, or you're fat? Is that how equality works? Do you really think you should be chosen to split wood over a more qualified man just because you're a woman? Here's one. Do you really want to walk through dangerous streets with a feminist man? One who also believes that you're equal to him in all ways?
Do what you want to the girl, but leave me alone.
Oh, God. Shots fired, fam. Shots fired.
These scenarios are something that most people are not faced with, but they're still great examples of the ridiculousness of the modern feminist point of view. You take a mindset, a theory, and apply it to the worst case scenario. If it's a good theory, it must also work in today's landscape. The truth is, as far as I can see, women have power, but they forgot it. They forgot. It's all the goddess groups and the women's get-togethers. They aren't really focusing on your real power, your real strength. They're just trying to teach you how to use your natural power in unnatural ways. You know what I want? I want to walk through the streets with a real man who understands that I'm not his equal, I'm his home. I want to support a real man who can fight a bad man. And then when the time is over and his testosterone is still pumping through his veins and violence is in his eyes and it's time to bring him back home to peace, it is my job to love him. Some people say it's called fucking the war out of men. That's why porn is popular. Here's my opinion. Because men like the reward that comes with masculine acts. Men who are just masculine for themselves, who conquer only for themselves, have no one to fuck the war out of them. So they praise themselves. You know what I mean? Or hire someone to do it.
Oh, God, I told you, this woman's got a biting wit. I'll tell you a slight side note. That term, F the war out of him, I've never been in a war, right? I've never fought in a war. But the feelings that stem from war can be found in most competitive arenas. If you're a competitive fighter or any competition. And I have found personally myself, whenever I've competed, it doesn't matter whether it's physical, a sport competition, a strongman, for example, or whether it's like a debate or something like that. Whenever I've had a crushing victory, well, you know what? That shit makes you horny, bruv. Excuse my French. I'm just being honest with you.
It's logical. I get it. Like, whoa, I did a good job. I chopped some wood. Back to ladies. Do you really want to compete with men over scarce resources? I don't. I want to be on the side of one man who doesn't believe in equality but takes pride in protection in what is his. So what is our natural role, women, ladies? Our role is to be at home and to make it his home, to nurture him, to fuck the war out of him, to bring him back to a place of peace. Home is your heart, your arms, your body. Home is the cooking that you do for him. Cooking is no joke. Knowing what your man likes and then preparing it with a smile on your face is a big deal. If it were a little deal, half the women in America wouldn't bitch and moan about it. Half the women in America would actually know how to do it. I mean, that's how lost we are. Some women are so lost in narcissism and competition that they don't even know how to cook. Home is the solace he feels in a real woman's company. Home is the way he feels in your presence because there's no posturing, no competing, no orders. Home is the words of consolation and support he hears from your lips, the lips of the woman he's chosen who has chosen him. A real woman's role is to keep things clean. The house, the children, the communication, the...
You know what? We're going to stop it there. I'm going to put the full video link in the description. There's not much left, maybe 3 or 4 minutes left, but wow. Wow. You know what? I can't really add anything to that. I cannot add anything to that. But what hit me the most was that the woman is the home. In perfect synchrony with the ayah in the Quran, what Allah used to describe woman. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Sakana. To live. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. She is the home. That's the role of a woman. To be a man's comfort when he comes home. And as she hit the nail on the head. If it was so easy, then half of America or half of the Western world wouldn't bitch and complain about it. It's not easy to submit and be comforting and nurturing and take care of him after he's fought the bad guys at work or wherever the case may be. It might not be war today, but you know, your man is going out there and fighting someone for the family, for the home, for you and the children. Guys, if you found value in this video, please hit that like, hit the subscribe. Gentlemen, if you want to join me on my private men's group, patreon.com/Mahdi Tijani, link is in the description. Tons of banned content on there and discussions where I go into a deep dive. You will understand, once you get onto my Patreon, you will understand why I can't put these videos publicly. Some of them are just too X-rated. Too X-rated. They won't even get demonetized. I'll get deplatformed, period. As I have been already 4 times, yeah, on TikTok. So, not bitter. I'm not bitter. Alright guys, Jazakumullah khair. Hit that like, hit the sub. I'll catch you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.